Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Well, whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome to another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast right here on the Chop Sports Media YouTube channel, and of course, all of your podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, all that fun shit. Dave Sturchio, nationally known comedian Bret Ernst, and of course, the Grinch is back in the building. Keith, Ernst, boys, how we doing? How we feeling? I know it's been another, in the offseason, it's hard to get together so much. During the season, we get together after every game. So we took another hiatus since talking last. I know Zeke was just re-signed. We haven't really talked, and the NFL came out and graced us with the schedule release. And, of course, the Dallas Cowboys, being the Dallas Cowboys, have a lot of newsworthy sound bites as of late. But first and foremost, Keith, how we doing? How we feeling? We doing all right?
Hey, Sturch, have you ever been, or was it around Action Park when you were a kid, the water park?
Action Park. I've seen the documentaries. I never actually went.
Oh, I'm just wondering. Sorry, I was just thinking about that for a second.
All right, so, Brett, how are we doing, bro? You doing all right?
I'm good.
Anyway, so listen, before we get into the schedule, I got to ask you both, look, everybody who's listened to the sound of our voices on this podcast over the last 4 or 5 seasons or however, I think we started in 2020. So we're going into our fourth season right now. Or 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, actually our 5th season. So I know that Brett has been vocal about the Dak Prescott contract. We've been optimistic about him. Keith thought he was getting benched last year by week 6. It was a whole big running gag. But I gotta ask you, Keith, I'll start with you because you know about all this clickbait shit. Dak Prescott's at one of his foundation charity events. They ask him about the contract. He literally said, and I quote, and of course you have to, this is a paraphrase quote, but more or less the big headline that came out is that Dak Prescott doesn't play for the money. He said it. I don't play for the money. I've never played for the money. Are you that, Keith, or are you like, is that player speak?
I don't think it makes sense. He's right. He never did play for the money. I mean, in the NFL he has, but his whole life he hasn't. I mean, he played because he loved the game. But I think the point he's trying to make is he doesn't have to be the richest quarterback. Of course, he wants to make some money, but I think he's come to the conclusion that, look, I could be top 5, top 10 paid. That's what I think. Maybe that's where he's going because he's already made a shitload of money with the Cowboys.
Well, I figured that the endorsement deals alone can get him through 3 generations. You know what I mean? So I think he's well off.
You know what? When he said stuff like that, that takes off some of the heat from him. Meaning, when you demand to be the highest paid and you're not winning playoff games. I know the playoff game wasn't his fault. All I'm saying is that when something like that happens, then people are like, look, he wants to be the highest paid and blah, blah, blah. He's taking all this money. You know what I mean? So I believe him. I get what he's trying to say. I'm not that call.
Brett, do you do comedy for the money or do you do it because you love it?
It's both. But
both, right?
Yeah,
so
it's always both.
So it's like, how do you take this phrase out of back mouth?
Everybody knows.
It's like you're about to be the biggest, richest quarterback in the league, no matter if he says he doesn't want to be or not. He's gonna be based off of, and here we go, market value, right? Like that's just the thing that exists within NFL media. But do you kind of snicker at the whole, it's I don't play for the money type deal, or is it like you have so much money now it doesn't really matter?
I get what he's saying, but at the same time, it's like, dude, look, man, I get it. I get what he's saying. He plays for the love of the game, just like I do stand up for the love of stand up. If it was about the money, I wouldn't have done stand up my first 15 years. You know what I mean? So, but is it in Dallas's best interest? That's what we have to ask ourselves, and even I know that's not the question, but he can't be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He just can't. We can't afford him.
Yeah, I know you're saying it's the market, but he doesn't have to. Dallas, I don't think the Cowboys will give him that, whether it's the market or not. I think that's what he's saying.
Well, right. And you would think that just based off, and I'm not even talking about performance either, because if you really want to get technical, the guy's a finalist to be the MVP last year. So it's like, let's all pump the brakes on performance. It's a regular season award, blah, blah, blah. But when I look at the quote, I almost just felt like Mike Birbiglia, another comedian, says this one thing in one of his stand-ups where he said, what I should have said was nothing. Right. And I feel like that's what Dak should have done. And he should have deflected it completely rather than say one of these, headline grabbing things where all of a sudden the Cowboys are the fucking talk of the offseason again because Dak doesn't want to play. Now you got Kyle Brandt coming out like, well, then play on the veterans minimum. It's like, all right, dude, I'm you. Like, relax. Like, but at the same time, I still kind of agree. And I'm just like, Dak, man, I love you. I really do cherish the guy as a player and as our quarterback. But it's like, did we have to say anything at all? Did you have to really?
If he doesn't say anything, what happens? If he goes no comment, people are like, "Uh-oh, he's pissed."
But in the past, Keith, he has said like, you know what? I leave that stuff up to the agents. That'll work itself out.
I guess.
He came out of the woodwork and said, "Well, it's not about the money." It's like, well, if it wasn't about the money, there'd be a contract probably signed already.
I don't know.
All I know is that the dominoes
balance it.
Yeah, I mean the dominoes will not be able to fall. And when I say dominoes, I mean CeeDee Lamb's contract, Micah Parsons' contract, any of these guys' contracts that are coming up.
I think he needs to take a pay cut.
There is no pay. There's no more pay cuts. He's going to make $60 million this year, or they get an extension and he makes X amount less. And you would hope that's what it is.
Is it Dak or CD?
No, I'm talking about Dak Prescott's making
okay.
60. And like you can't get the other guys inked. You just can't. Like there's just no financial way you can get all these guys under the cap. And the only team that's like obsessed with the cap are the Dallas Cowboys. You would think they're the most richest franchise in all of sports, and all of a sudden they're also the cheapest in regards to worrying about the cap situation.
Well, we have to. I meant, we have a team, and we got to keep a team, and it's going to be impossible. I mean, this is the problem with these types of contracts. By the way, bro, can you get closer to the mic, I think?
Me or him?
Keith, yeah.
Oh, why? You can't hear me?
It sounds like you had a water to me. I don't know.
No, I heard him.
He sounds good? Okay.
Yeah.
No, again, what do we do? What do we do? I mean, we got to give him $60 million. I mean,
as of right now, that's the cap number, right? So like he's under contract through this year for $60 million. So you either extend them and you alleviate that cap space throughout the course of the next however many years you want to spend on this guy. Like, to me, I think the ideal situation would be another round of what we just did. Like, you want to give him another 4-year deal, do that. And I think you guys know this best, but it's all about the guaranteed money nowadays, right? It's not really about the value. It's about how much can I make sure that I'm going to get no matter what. Injury, trade, cut, whatever. There's a guaranteed number. I think Dak wants that number to be high, and I think that he's okay with taking less, which I hope is the case. But what does that mean? I mean, he's not going to make anything less than like 45 a year, to be honest with you. That's kind of where I'm at.
Here's where they both need to understand their roles. And if Dak's got to if he's got to get his quote unquote, then Dallas should show no loyalty. And it should just be a simple business transaction based on merit where they see the future. And, and we should get out as soon as we can with paying him as less money and move on. Because I can't see after this year. I give him this year, but
that's what he is. He's officially under contract this year. That's it. He's officially unrestricted free agent.
You know what's crazy is this was in relation to Tony Romo's career. I believe this was the year where Romo took us to the Dez catch game. If that makes sense, the same amount of time. Meaning, I think Romo was 7
2014. He started his career in 2007, 2006. So yeah, he's falling under that 8-year window.
Falling under that thing. So I meant maybe this, and Romo even said himself, like he was. I mean, we all saw Romo. He was always an excellent quarterback, but something about him in that last season, his full season he played, and even the season after when he was injured, he was a different quarterback. He even said he started to see it. Let's see what happens this year with Dak. Maybe he takes it to that level.
But are you willing to let's see what happens when it comes to a franchise quarterback? Because come February 1st or whatever the season ends, he's no longer a Cowboy immediately.
I know. Well, I meant we got time. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I would think that's something. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that this thing gets done before training camp, right? Before the training camp starts, they get him done. Remember, now keep in mind, CeeDee Lamb, he's not shown up yet, right? And everybody understands why he's not showing up, right? People are just like, all right, well, look, this is business. I know Dak Prescott has already said, they've worked out already in the offseason, and Brandon Cooks is starting to shine a little bit in OTAs because of the extra reps the guy's getting, and Jalen Tolbert's ready to take the next step. They're not preparing for life without CeeDee Lamb, but this is the business part of football where these guys they have the leverage and they say, look, I'm not going to play until you give me something new and guaranteed.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you had to live without one, right? Dak or CD? It's tough, but I'd live. I think CD's more replaceable. I
love CeeDee Lamb, but I think that you need a quarterback to be, an effective wide receiver in the league. Just look at Devontae Adams. He went from Aaron Rodgers to God knows what, and it was a drop.
How about this? Name the last team that won a Super Bowl with a superstar wide receiver.
So that's another great question because
don't bring up Kelsey, please.
He's not. He's a tight end, first of all. No, but that's a thing. That's a logical thing because I think all the Patriots teams that won those Super Bowls, like the Rolodex is like Deion Branch, Wes Welker, fucking Julian Edelman, guys that weren't these astronomical superstars, and they still went on because of the great quarterback play.
I would say Cooper Kupp, maybe the Rams and Cooper Kupp.
Okay, that's a good call, bro. But at the time, was he like that?
I'm saying that's the only one that comes to mind. And
not a first round pick either. Yeah.
I mean, do you consider when the Bucs won with Tom Brady? Sorry. Well,
no, Cooper Kupp is a great example, but Cooper Kupp now is making money. Yeah, now it's a different story too. When I say a star receiver, what I'm talking about is someone that, hey, give me this money, and then they go on and win a Super Bowl. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
would you throw Mike Evans in that conversation?
No. I mean, I get what he's saying. Like a Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin. Well, we can't say Randy Moss because he's never won a Super. Marvin Harrison's a great example.
Yeah.
But now you're dating back to like mid 2005, 6.
Yeah, but I'm saying right in this modern era, I mean, they're making a lot of these guys are making themselves replaceable.
It's fair. It's a very fair point. It's a good question. It's a good call. I'm sure listeners right now are probably yelling at their phones or their radios saying like, "Oh, you're forgetting this guy. You're forgetting this guy." But I don't know, man. I don't think we're forgetting many people.
Well, look, I'll say this. I agree. I think we give Dak an extension, spread it out a little, so we don't take such a hit. And get Micah signed before CD, even though we got one more year before Micah's up, right? Or is he up as well?
He's playing on the 5th-year option this year, and he's another one who skipped voluntary OTAs. And look, he was over there sumo wrestling and shit, and like people are just like, well, what is he doing? That's just a blown ACL waiting to happen. But I look at this as like almost like a I don't want to compare him to the triplets at all because it's obviously a completely different story. However, if you showed me a August press conference with Dak, CD, and Micah all sitting there with brand new contracts, I would not be upset. You know what I mean? Like if they all did it simultaneously and make all the numbers work, and you bring all three guys back for their foreseeable future, and look, this is a credit to. I know we talk about the lack of off-season fun, right? There's no high price tagged free agent that's been in Dallas since like fucking Leroy Glover. I don't know. Like it's been so long since they actually went out and spent in free agency. But this has to be a testament to the way they've been drafted because now the guys that you're worried about signing are our guys. And so like all the whole Stephen Jones, like we like our guys. Yeah, they fucking do. Right. So like those are our guys. No. So like I'm not as hell bent as some of the other Cowboy fans are like, spend some money. Like they are spending money. It's on the guys that we drafted who just turned out to be all pros. Right. So it's like, it's not a bad thing, right?
No, not at all. It's a great thing, but we have to, Look, they got to get paid, I guess. You know what I mean? Dallas has to win games. It's a symbiotic relationship that is based on business. I mean, there is greed, obviously, on both sides. The players don't actually play that long in retrospect, but it's not like it was in the 80s where it's a lot of money for once. It would be like, I could make a lot of money in 1 year and then the next year, it fluctuates. They're probably going to live off this the rest of their lives, which we won't probably make that much, but you get what I'm saying. It's business.
It is business. At the end of the day, people need to realize
you got to look at it that way.
They have to. And if you don't, then you're not being logical and you're just like, oh, they stink. Show me a playoff with all that garbage that you hear about the Cowboys. And it's the same song and dance every season. So anyway,
we have a 27, 28 year formula. Actually, let's go over that because, even that Super Bowl that Switzer won, that was all Jimmy Johnson. So, there is no formula after Jimmy Johnson. There really isn't. We haven't cracked that code in 3 decades.
Well, I think dating back to that, I think that Jerry, when there was no salary cap, he just get whoever he wanted. That's why Dion came around. You know what I mean? Like you could just go out and get whoever.
There was a salary cap.
There was a salary cap after. Yeah, there was. We ended up losing 14 players. It came in 94.
Dude, if it wasn't for free agency, first of all, we would have won at least 7 or 8 Super Bowls in the 90s. Absolutely.
Easy.
We got obliterated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Their first run, when they had to re-sign Emmett and he was holding out, there's no competitor. You were competing against yourself. You could just sign him for whatever you wanted.
No. Free agency was around then.
It just started, buddy.
He was holding out. No, so Emmitt Smith was holding out. He was in a contract year when he did that. He was holding out for more money because of where
proved his value pretty much right away too. We were 0-2 without him. But anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of schedules, speaking of all that.
Well, hold on. I want to say something, and I know this sounds like, I don't know. But what if, let's just say, what if every NFL team got together and said, you know what? Let's just say a player can't make more than $10 million a year. That's it. A player can't make more than $10 million a year. Hold on. I know. Make it 15 a year. Fine. A player can't make more than 15 million a year. And you sign 1-year contracts each year. Meaning that if the player wants to leave, they can leave whenever the fuck they want. And
but then they can only make 15 million no matter where they go.
No matter where they go, they can only make 15 million. Which, by the way, like we're saying, only 15 million. I meant, what are you going to do? Are you really think you're going to get a job that you're going to make that kind of money in 1 fucking year? I'm just saying, though, if they wanted to do it, I mean, you got motherfuckers playing in the XFL right now for $10,000 a year that would die to be in the NFL.
Yeah, look,
would the quality really drop?
But they're also phenomenally lesser players too.
I don't think so, though. That's what I'm trying to say.
If they weren't, they'd be in the NFL.
Drop that much if they did that? I don't think so. There's so many fucking.
I agree with Keith. By the way, March 1st, 1993 is when NFL free agency first started.
Okay.
Secondly, my brother's right. Now, here's what happened, and this is why they brought free agency in. And you got to remember, it was an abuse of the owners too. So they wouldn't have done this if the owners didn't abuse their power, which is everything's a check and balance. But prior to free agency and salary caps, you were paying top dollar for the best player, but it was nothing ridiculous. But then owners were being, bitches about it. They wouldn't trade players. They'd ruin careers. It's kind of like what happens in boxing when they shelf. Like they'll shelf a player, you know what I mean? A manager for 10 years. The guy can't fight again. They're just being vindictive.
Almost like a non-compete.
Yeah, it's just, there was that. But then once it started to clear out, they saw that the prices were getting a little out of control because, you had guys like Dallas that could afford everything. And then you had, even though the Redskins spent way more money than we did and made more money, they were actually had more money as a franchise. You see then we put that in, but we still have the mentality that we should pay these players. So it was almost like in the old model mixed with the new model is what we're seeing now. If we do what like the NBA did, or, you know, where you could cap out at certain tiers and, you know, do incentives, the quality's not going to go down. It's not like, you know, CeeDee Lamb's going to be like, nah, fuck that. I want to do, you know, I want to be a school teacher or whatever he wants.
Lawyers don't even make that fucking much money. Like,
yeah,
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, and that's, I know it sounds crazy. And the whole thing is when I say doing 1-year contracts, that means if they don't like the fucking team they're on, or if a team's like, hey, we think your quality here is only $9 million. Well, they'll give me $15 million. Fuck you. Next year I'll go to them. But anyway, they can all cap out at $15 million a year. Every single.
I think it's not where the NFL is headed. What I will say is they keep catering to these big contracts, meaning these TV deals that come through and all this extra money. There's a game on Netflix this year. Like all this new shit is the culprit as to why the salary cap goes up year after year. So that's what either Jerry's a mastermind and he's projecting, you know, the next 5 years salary cap on where it's going to be and how much they can allocate to X or Y, Z player, or I don't know, because it's like, again, you're never going to see, let's just pretend arbitrarily next year, and this is not a thing, Justin Jefferson hits the open market, right? And we don't know what we're going to do with CeeDee Lamb yet. We have no idea. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be called suitors, but never make the phone call. They never called Derrick Henry. Like they never were in these markets. And it's just,
I get that, Sturch. My whole thing is, the reason I'm bringing this up is I miss the 80s when I was a Cowboy. And I get that they were being treated unfairly. I love knowing my players every fucking year, man. Didn't have to worry about all this shit. Never really talked about this stuff. I knew that, you know, Thurman Steves were coming back. We knew Tony Hill, Drew Pearson. We knew Ron Springs was going to be the backup runner. We didn't have to worry about him running the fucking to San Diego. Like, we just knew. And I just wish there was a way where you could keep your players but give them the opportunity to leave if they don't like the way things are going, or you know what I mean, or something like. But I wish there was a fine balance
or keep it fair too, like, you know, there are teams that we just keep raise the limit to where if you're in this amount of years, you can max to this amount. And then once you get past that tier, you can get that amount a year. This way, even the rookie contracts may be higher than what they're paying. But, you know, everybody can make money. You got league minimum starters. You just have, you know, brackets, because at the end of the day too, they're not seeing because, you know, they'll make the argument, well, Dallas makes $1 billion. Okay. But none of them are still seeing any of that. You have one or two.
It's us that put the line the pockets, like just the ticket sales. It's the shit like that. That's what goes into into the paying of the players, not because Jerry Jones signed a big ass endorsement deal with Pepsi.
Most of the players on the team aren't making that much, right? So it's always like 5 players that are eating. And that's what Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have gone by and said, you know, they made the pie reference. There's only so many pieces of the pie that can go around. And it just so happens that their premier players, Dak, CeeDee, Micah, Trayvon Diggs, like those guys, DeMarcus Lawrence, like those guys are a massive chunk of the pie. And then you have the tiny slivers, like your Brandon Cooks and your rookies and your punters and kickers and shit like that. But like, it just so happens that we have a bunch of pieces of the pie that are about to be eaten and never be seen about again. It though. Those guys, so those smaller pieces will get a little bigger, right?
Yeah.
You make those a little bigger, make the guys, those big fives, a little smaller. Make it so that, look, if they're not happy, they can leave Dallas and go and make the same money somewhere else. I think it's a great idea, and I think the NFL should really consider it.
And you would think, not for nothing, but you would think Dallas would be a destination considering the taxes, right? It's like you're not getting fucking hammered over the head like you are in California.
That would be the other thing you got to factor in. But I mean, there's a way to balance everything out, that you have, you have a raise for your tax that go to taxes. Because, you know, if you think about it, it is the game's not the same anymore, man. And you know, it's not as exciting, like my brother was saying. I mean, you have great talent, but you don't have those storylines of like the Hogs versus this line every year. You know, when Dallas would go in, we'd have to face the same offensive linemen, and you have those, you know, rivalries that go on.
There's more turnover than ever before. And it's, you know, it's free agency, that's draft, that's retirements, that's cuts, it just happens. And I think that's the world we're living in now. But I totally get you guys' point.
Put it this way. If this is how the league started, there wouldn't be a league right now.
You think they would have run themselves dry?
Yeah, I don't think people would have been that loyal and would have went. I think the way the league started in the first, 40 years, the way it was running is where it got its fan base. And since then it's trickled down, like from your dad to you to I'm trickling it down to my kids. But I think if the league started the way it's ran now, it would not be as popular. And it may even fold. It may have even folded. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting, but again, just devil's advocate. I don't think anybody ever takes down the NFL, like ever. Like it's just it's one of those things, bro. But before you know it, I don't think we'll be in the grave yet. Neither three of us. I know you guys got some years on me, but like we're all going to be alive when all of a sudden we're talking about Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday football.
I'm going to tell you right now. You think that, you know? I mean, look, it'll always be around. But look how baseball fell. And then on top of that, look at how like rock and roll fell. I mean, rock's gone. I mean, in the 70s, you had 50 fucking arena acts. And the other thing that's sad is where college football's headed. This NIL thing is insane.
That's a dangerous, dangerous game those guys are playing. It really is.
These kids should get paid, but you got kids demanding $250,000, or they're going to go in a trade portal, whatever that is, the
transfer
portal. And now you got young kids that are missing scholarships because, look, I can get a 20-year-old for X amount of dollars coming through the portal, whereas, you know, giving a scholarship to an 18-year-old, I don't even know how good that person is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Deion's kid's going to be a millionaire before he even gets to the NFL. So
well, he is a millionaire.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm
not from his dad. He's a millionaire.
Well, that too. But I'm saying like his own endorsements, like, yeah. And he's not even good, like to me. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, he's going to be next year's #1 draft pick. I'm like, good fucking luck. I don't care.
The other thing you do is just lift the cap. You know what I mean?
But then it's the Wild West. Yeah. Then it's the Wild West.
But that's still fine though, because then you could keep guys signed, and we could get, and everybody went, even if because then
but then there's no back and forth. There's like if Dallas was able to spend and get whoever they wanted at any point, no matter what, like who's to say we would lose anything ever?
Oh, exactly. I'm saying, though.
Well, no, listen. Am I all for winning every year? Sure am.
And Sturch. What?
Yeah, no.
What's your fucking point, dude? It's like,
all right, let's go. Let's go to the schedule. Let's go.
All right. So look, the NFL schedule, which is another example of why the NFL is as big as it is, because there's one day dedicated to leaks and fucking just rumors, and I'm flooding Keith and Brett's text thread like a madman saying this is what's going to happen. Here's the leaks. Here's the rumors. I salivated in schedule release day. I was very excited because listen, there's not enough football to go around. I can't get into the spring shit. It's very, very hard. Like it looks like I'm watching COVID football. There's nobody in the crowd.
I heard, just for the record too, I heard my boy Overshown is looking good.
Yoked. He definitely put on some size, which is good, you know. And again, shout out to Rowdy, the mascot, who won't give up the number 0 for Overshown. So anyway, to the schedule.
Well, let me tell you something. Rowdy's not going to be asking for a shitload of money in 4 years. Okay? He can keep his number, even though I can't stand him.
I'm fucking Rowdy. Do we really need a mascot? Bring back Crazy Ray out of the grave or whatever.
Oh, dude, Crazy Ray's the man.
Yeah, I was watching one of our older clips, and here we are. We were trying to do a petition to get Crazy Ray in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
All right. So schedule comes out. Thank God that we're not opening with the Giants. I hate opening with the Giants, but they are opening on the road against the Cleveland Browns. Now, we're not going to do win-loss, because that's ridiculous. And anybody out there who's predicting win-loss right now,
right,
you're just doing it for comedic
How about this? Let's just do the first game win-loss for fun.
Okay.
And I go last.
Just throw it in. We don't have to analyze each game. Just figure it out.
All right. So they're opening up in Cleveland And Tom Brady's first broadcast as a broadcaster gets the Dallas Cowboys and Cleveland Browns. Now, look, I mean, again, we're not going to break down this game thoroughly. However, the first thing I thought of was, sweet, we might have a rookie left tackle against Myles Garrett on week 1. And I'm like, well, Dak Prescott might get killed. So it's like, okay. But if I had to make a quick prediction on the road to start the season, I don't like it. I don't think we win. So I don't know the score, and I don't feel good about it. Cleveland's going into it with a whole new quarterback again. They got, Deshaun Watson's back full time instead of Joe Flacco. So he's a little bit more dynamic. So, Chubb's coming off injury. He'll be back. Amari Cooper revenge game, maybe. I don't know. Right. There's many factors that go into this. I like our defense, but I don't know what it's going to look like come week 1. So I'll say we probably start off the season with a loss, Brett.
I agree. This is a game I want to go to, though. I could probably get tickets too.
You want to go to the dog
I
pound?
got hit up because you remember I lived in Cleveland for about almost 2 years, so I got some connects.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get out there for week 1.
But I don't think we win this one. I think Cleveland's a good team, man. I think they're a better team. But we got to go quick. If we can't give the explanation, we just
no. It was only for week 1.
My thing is because I've given this some thought. Okay, and from what I meant, Dak Prescott on the road. Dak Prescott offenses on the road opening week that aren't the New York Giants. Has he ever won? No, I don't think so.
Opening week?
Yeah, that's not the New York Giants.
A recent memory, I think we opened up against the Rams one year. We lost there.
Tampa
Bay, we lost there.
Carolina,
we lost there.
Okay, and another
not only is it on the road, this is on grass. So
another thing I want to bring up is and this is what I'm basing off last year, okay? And last season, we did not play well at all against any playoff team on the road. We didn't. I meant the Eagles we did, I guess. Yeah. But whatever, we still lost that game. But I meant we got fucking hammered by Buffalo. Miami beat us at home. At their home. So here's my thing. What I see is maybe a blowout here versus us. Like I see our offense sputtering, their defense, because that's what it usually is. Our offense sputters and our defense will not be able to stop Nick Chubb. Now this is week 1. Panic will go up, all that kind of shit. But I see a double-digit loss to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm shocked we're favored in that game. But I
don't think we're favored.
Yes, we are. We're favored by 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to this.
You know what? It opened as us 1-point dogs, so something swung.
I'm going to add to this.
Something swung. I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to add to this, okay? And now mark it right now, okay? We lose this game. I was in Browns Stadium the night they beat the Jets and they cracked open the Budweiser cooler that was locked for 3 years in a row. These people went and dedicated themselves to this team when they weren't even winning a game. The stadium's nuts. Okay. I don't see us winning, but this could be a possible glimpse of the Super Bowl this year is the Cowboys and the Browns. Mark that.
It is May 28th, 2024, and we got the Browns and the Cowboys playing in the Super Bowl. Good night, everybody.
Possible. I think they both go to the NFC and AFC championship games, and they could possibly meet each other in the Super Bowl.
Wow. All right.
Save that soundbite.
I love it. No, I'm keeping that forever.
And I'm standing by my preseason prediction and I saved the receipt with Sturch that Guyton will not be starting at tackle.
Guyton's going to be starting
opening week.
Guyton will be starting. A gentleman's bet. A gentleman's bet. I think Guyton is 100% going to start. But anyway, let's move on. Week 2. We get our home opener. I don't really necessarily like the time slot. It is an early 1:00 kick against the Saints. Zeke's homecoming game. I'm excited about that. This is the game I kind of wanted to maybe see if we can get out to because I think it's going to be a madhouse. But the 1:00 shit scares me a little. Not scares me, but it's annoying when it's out there because that means it's 12. Means get up at like 8. It's like
I'm fine with that.
All right, then we're fine with that. But yeah. So anyway, we start off with the home schedule against the Saints.
And who's going to be the Saints quarterback?
Derek Carr.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot he's still around.
I think we have our way with that game. I think the Saints are good and they're always been defensively sound, but I think know.
Well, think about it, Serge. Think about what happens the week before. So we're great at bounce back games. So yes,
absolutely. This is our first 40 burger of the year.
We might as well do quick win loss. You just got to go quick with it.
All right. Well, fine. Fine. I gotta win here. Keith.
We can't help it.
I know. It's horrible. Keith, win, loss?
I just said a win because we just got blown out the week before. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Win. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. We're 1-1. I'm just gonna tally up the wins to make life easy. So all right. So Bret, Dave, Keith.
I'm not even excited about the Saints, to be honest with you. I'm more excited about watching us against the Browns than the Saints.
Yeah, same. We stay home the following week, 4:25 kick against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. If we don't impress or if we don't improve on the run game, this could be very, very bad. Lamar Jackson, obviously by himself, is a weapon, and now you add Derrick Henry to the fold. Our secondary really won't have to totally. Zay Flowers is good, great. They got a good tight end. Dallas being home gives us a little bit of the edge, I guess. It really depends on what they do the week before against the Saints. If they roll the Saints out of there, I'd say, all right, you know what? Let's roll, but like if they win by a field goal over the Saints, I'm not going to feel very confident playing the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll tell you this: I think the Ravens are on the decline. I think we win this game at home. Again, I think Cleveland and Pittsburgh might be pretty good in that division. But yeah, I think we could squeak out a win against the Ravens.
I'm going to give them a win just because we're home, and like I said, I think that might bode well for us, and all depending on the week before, which I think is going to be a better win than some anticipate. Keith?
Dak Prescott gets benched? Actually, I like this matchup.
Yeah.
I like us. Yeah. And once again, I don't think I think Derrick Henry is on his last leg right now. I like the matchup. I think we can win this game. Be close.
Okay. Heading on out to week 4, we make our first appearance on the East Coast, and that is against the New York Football Giants on Thursday Night Football. I'll be at that game. I never really miss a Cowboys Giants game, so I'll be there. And I think the Giants. Look, I know it's May, but I think we're talking about the New York Giants with the hovering around the first overall pick next year. I think they're that bad.
Wow.
I think they're going to be. I think it's going to be a very, very rough year for Daniel Jones. And I think that they're going to finally, get that quarterback of the future next year when they have a top 3 pick. So that's kind of where I see this one. I think Dallas rolls in this game. Brett, what do you say?
I agree. I mean, it should be a win on paper. They lost Saquon. They're the quarterback, Daniel Jones again. Where's the Italian guy? He left, didn't he? Or is he still there?
DeVito.
Yeah, Tommy DeVito's out there. He actually spent Memorial Day weekend with Ben DiNucci. So it was a nice family gathering.
There was I saw on TMZ they were at DJ's and down the shore.
Hell yeah, bro. Belmont.
This pumping.
Keith, we get the win on Thursday night?
Obviously, they were my NFC East winners last year, the New York Giants. And I'd like to say that usually my predictions are a year off.
Oh.
So I usually foresee the future. I think that for once, Daniel Jones and the Giants beat Dak Prescott because they haven't beat Dak guys since his rookie year.
I know.
But I think they squeeze one out on Thursday night because I could see us being really high on them because we just beat the Saints and then we beat the Ravens, and it's going to be one of those Sturch. How are you picking them to lose? They just beat the Ravens. I don't understand you. Explain it to me. Go back to the Buffalo game, guys, if you want to hear that whole thing.
All right.
But, so Buffalo was a little better team, Keith, than the Giants looked this year. Looking to be.
We'll see. They upgraded their defense. We'll see.
All right. So Keith got him a big fat L.
$500 million on a
week 5.
Week 5,
we're staying on the East Coast, and we're going to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, we draw early, which is nice. It's not a December game. I know we were talking about that in the text, saying that thank God, we don't got to go to Pittsburgh in December. So this is still Pittsburgh, and it is October. So just the start of October. I don't know what to make of Pittsburgh right now. They got a lot of questions. They do have a really, really good receiver on the up and up. Pickens is going to be a monster this year, I think. But it really all is going to depend on the play of one Russell Wilson, who is their quarterback. So, or does he get beat out by Justin Fields? Or, you know, there's a couple question marks, and by week 5, who knows? But that's a homecoming for Mike McCarthy. He's a Pittsburgh guy. I think he goes into Pittsburgh and gets the 4th win of the season. I got the Cowboys starting 4-1, so this is always fun. And if Bret takes the Cowboys here, we are lockstep with 4-1. So
no, I got Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to be a really strong team. They drafted
Jalen Warren's going to be good too.
Dude, that's going to be and it's in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't see us pulling this one out. Not this early.
J. Watt against Guyton.
I remember last season Pittsburgh opened against the 49ers, and I don't think I've ever seen a shittier offense in my life from the Steelers ever.
That was Kenny Pickett.
And the game after that, I mean, that offense was putrid. They fired their offensive coordinator. They got a new offensive coordinator in there. And who was the quarterback that came in after Pickett? He was Rudolph. I think it was Mason Rudolph. And he ended up playing well at the end of the year with the new offensive coordinator. Dude, here's my thing. Once again, I'm a year off. Who did I predict to be one of the best quarterbacks last season? Justin Fields. I like Pittsburgh in this game.
You think he's going to be starting by week 5?
What's that? Say it again, bud.
You think he's beating out Russell Wilson?
I think he will. I think Russell Wilson, bro. Think about it. He couldn't win with Sean Payton on the Broncos. I mean, who's a better quarterback and a better head coach than Sean Payton? I think Russell Wilson has slipped. I don't think he's the same Russell Wilson we saw in Seattle. My opinion.
Well, let's just hope he plays that game then.
Well, I just want to know how you've been validated by a year later that you're coming up with this stat that a year later you're validated.
Usually, I'll give you a good example. Derrick Henry, for one. I thought Derrick Henry was going to blow up, and I had him on my fantasy team. Do you know when I cut him? I swear to God, I was done with him. You know when I was done with him?
Up the next year.
I got rid of him literally the week before he had that 99-yard run. I cut him off my fantasy team.
I don't know. You might be the only one in history to ever cut.
Remember, DeMarco Murray was there when Derrick Henry got there. So they were kind of splitting carries and whatever. But I'm just saying that's one example. Derrick Henry I thought Derrick Henry was going to be great. And a year later, he was. So I meant
there it was. There's your week later. So,
yeah.
All right. So troubling start for the Dallas Cowboys, according to Keith. After 5 games, he's got him at 2-3. So we'll see how we go. Back home,
I got him at 3-2. I got him at 3
and I'm the schmuck with 4-1. So now I feel like Bret from last year. I think Bret had him going like 17-0 or some shit.
Buddy, I was not that far off, buddy, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, another 12-win season. Yeah, incredible. And I'm sure I'll get there. So let me see. We get back home, a little bit of a revenge game. Will the Detroit Lions come back in there and declare and make sure they're all offensive line set up right for their trick plays? Keith, I'll start with you on this one. Detroit comes in to play the Cowboys.
We win, and then here comes the storyline. You ready? Because this is what I always, it's how I envision storylines.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys can win at home, but can they win on the road?
Already. They're starting that shit 6 weeks in. Okay. Bret, do the Cowboys beat the Lions at home?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think we're a better team than them.
Okay.
Again, we're going on last year, and if because I know a lot of Lions fans, and it's like they blame that one play, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was a brutal way for them to lose.
Stupid. It was stupid.
I think the Detroit Lions are primed to have a very, very good year this year. And I think this is going to be one of those statement games where they go into Dallas and they punch us in the mouth a little bit. I don't think Dallas wins this game. And again, I'm saying that in May. I may change my tune in September, but as of right now, I think the Lions are a very well-oiled machine and they have themselves a good season. So we're at the bye now.
Well, let's look at it this way too, because you could be right. We couldn't beat a Green Bay at the last game we played was at home against a team that we checked all the boxes against, and we ended up getting fucking ran out. So who knows?
All right. That's true. So at the bye, Keith has him at 3-3, 500 team, me and Bret at 4-2. Now off the bye is probably the biggest game of the year as far as on the schedule is concerned. We don't know where people are going to fall, but it's time to revisit Bang Bang Niner Gang off the bye. in San Francisco. I might actually go to this game, which is going to be a nice little trip for me and my buddies. I'm not sure about it yet. We'll see. But this is a big one, man. This is going to be like the test to see where they stand in the NFC. 7 weeks into a season, 8 weeks into a season. So we're already in late October. You got to get over this hump, right? You got it. And I'll only say it this way. Mike McCarthy off a bye is a pretty goddamn good coach. So I'm going to say for the first time in what feels like forever, the Dallas Cowboys defeat the 49ers in Santa Clara. And again, I might change my tune in a couple months, but as of right now, I think off the bye. And the Niners, listen, they're going to have some question marks on defense again. And I get it. As long as they have guys like Fred Warner running around, murking people, I think they're going to be okay. But I think the Cowboys can run with this team. I do. So that's where I'm at. Keith?
So this all comes down to me. With this team is Mike Zimmer's defense. That's what it comes down to. When I say Mike Zimmer's defense, I'll say this again. This team goes through our defense, which is why we failed last season. So I was, that's where I was right. We lost because of our defense. Absolutely lost that Packer game because of our defense.
All right, I'm not going to get into it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they were fucking awful. Awful. I mean, it was the most embarrassing fucking game I've ever seen as a Dallas Cowboy fan in the postseason. I meant that fucking Packer team. I don't know what you want to get into, buddy.
Grinch.
Well, hold on. That Packer team wouldn't even have been in the fucking playoffs 4 years ago. They scored touchdowns on 6 of their 7 fucking drives, their first drives. Even when Dak Prescott tried to mount a comeback, 17 straight points, the defense got 3 fucking touchdowns scored against them.
We know, Grinch, we were there.
Dan Quinn's defense was the reason why we lost that fucking game, and I'm glad he's gone. Got that out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Zimmer brings something, because if he doesn't, our offense is going to sputter. And when I say that is, our offense is not built to score a lot of points. It's built to maintain drives. It's those we might kick a field goal here and there, but we'll pull it out. Against a team like the 49ers, okay, our defense is going to have to be strong, because our offense is going to roll out there, and there could be 4 or 5 series where we just get a field goal in the beginning of the game. We got to be able to stop them. I don't see that happening right now, so I think the 49ers beat us again.
All right. That was a long journey just to get to the L. Brett, what do you think?
I think I touched a nerve when I was like, we got ran out last game of the season, and then talking about Detroit, and the Grinch got riled up.
His eyes started twitching a little bit. Like,
he's still mad. Like,
the anger sharks are swimming.
You know what this team does to us? The Grinch hasn't had a decent meal. I got us losing, man. I don't think we're a better team than San Francisco, and I think people should put a little bit more respect on Brock Purdy's name, because everybody's like, I'm that, I'm him. That kid's fucking good. And that team is run right, and they've got great weapons, and they play as a unit. And I don't see us, I think that's the best team in the NFL right now.
Can I just make one prediction of what's going to be said the week before? Is that we're going to go into this game like 6-point dogs or some shit, right? And then DeMarcus Lawrence, of all the players, is going to say, we ain't nobody's dog.
Exactly.
and that's going to spark, like, little Sturch is going to be like, oh, yeah, here we go. Right?
Yeah, well,
I think it'll be the opposite, Sturch. I think you're going to get upset if he says something like that this year.
Yeah,
no. What's going to happen before? Little Sturch is going to get riled up, and then he's going to be sitting in front of the window seeing if Dad's headlights are pulling into the garage, into the driveway. And he's waiting, and he's like, Mama, where's Dad? And she's crying in the other room.
Honey, they just
honey, I don't know. Deep down inside, she knows that Daddy's not coming home.
Right. Well, speaking of,
I'm not gonna lie, Sturch. I do miss your first quarter throwing the towel in text. As soon as we punt on the first drive,
I'm making a promise to myself this year, that the one promise I have to myself and my family, my loved ones that are surrounding me throughout these games, is to stay as even keel until at least the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but you weren't even doing that with the Knicks, bro. I follow you with the Knicks. When Brunson got injured against the Sixers or whatever it was, you're like, it's over. It's over. We lost. It's done. Like, pack it in.
It was.
But you won the series.
I digress. We didn't do much against Indiana those fucking days. Good for them. Good job, Boston, taking care of business. All right, so after the 49er debacle, we go back. We stay on the road, actually, for a 1 o'clock start against the Atlanta Falcons, who they don't really know what the fuck they're doing over there. They ruined the entire NFL draft by taking Penix when they have Kirk Cousins inked for the next 4 years. So don't really know what's going on there. I'm giving the Dallas Cowboys a win over the Atlanta Falcons because I just don't believe in the Falcons right now. Yeah, they got good players. They got Drake London. Kirk Cousins is serviceable. Struggles against the Cowboys. We've seen that. So that's where, if he is the quarterback come week, whatever the fuck this is, week 8, I think the Cowboys win and they might roll. They might roll in this one. And don't think we don't remember the Claiborne game against Dak Prescott, where Prescott was literally just beaten within an inch of his life against the Falcons. So I'm taking the win.
So
you can't just say a win, Sturch, so we can move on.
This could be our first. This could be our. This will be our first road win. This is the game I want to go to, believe it or not, out of all the games. So
Okay,
I'm down.
I want to go to Atlanta Stadium.
And I heard there's like $2 hot dogs, so it's like they don't overprice. Arthur Blank just didn't believe in that, so like people are just like having a good time, hammered as all hell, probably shooting up the fucking city afterwards. But who knows, right? Yeah. ATL, baby. Dirty South. Brett, we winning?
Yeah, we should win this game.
All right. Getting back home cooking, November 10th, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, look, this is the first time we're seeing the Eagles all season, and it comes pretty late in the season, I think, not till November. So we don't have to worry about the Eagles or the Washington Commanders until November or later. And it's only the Giants we take on once. So we only have one division game in the first, 8 games. So that's pretty.
Wait, this game's at home?
Yeah, this game is home against the Philadelphia Eagles. Yep. So home against the Eagles, give me the win. Away, it's another story. We'll get back into that, but I'll take another win for the Cowboys, as I now have them at 7-2. So we're rolling right now. Keith, do the 4-3. I'm sorry, 4-4. No, 4-5. You only have 4 wins out of the first.
Well, I have us beating the Saints, the Ravens, the Lions.
Yeah, 4 wins. Anyway, what are they doing against the Eagles at home?
It'll be our first back-to-back win.
Keith hasn't beaten the Giants, don't you, bro?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
So I think that, and I want to bring something up with this game, which I find I didn't know this, but did you know this is the first time we don't have a night game against Philly since 2006?
And do you know that I guarantee you that the Sunday in December will be flexed to a Sunday night football game?
All right, we'll see about that, but I'm just saying, can we?
Yeah, no, I saw that stat. It was pretty wild. Yeah. We've been on, and a lot of the fans were like, "Oh, they just don't like the Cowboys anymore." I'm like, "You're fucking high. We still got 6 primetime games. Like, stop.
Yeah,
we're good." So all right, so me and Keith have it as a win at home. Brett,
I got it as a win, and I'm just going on saying that I don't think that the NFC East is really going to be that strong. I think we're going to be a standout. Now I know Philly, getting Saquon, and I think the infrastructure, man, the way they fell apart at the end of the year, something's not right over there.
I mean, look, they made the additions of Saquon. They drafted a cornerback in the round 1 of the draft. AJ Brown's coming in another year. Devontae Smith. They have all these tools, but like, are they just tools? Like, is Jalen Hurts just not him? I don't know. I mean,
it's a prediction I make. I don't think that Dallas should win this game.
All right. So we all have a home win. Now here's a really big home game the following Monday night against the Houston Texans. Now, this is obviously the Houston Texans are not your mama's Houston Texans. These are the Texans of new, and these are loaded with talent. Trayvon Diggs' brother, Stephon, will be there. So it'll be the Diggs Bowl there. CJ Stroud and Micah Parsons have become very friendly over the offseason. But I'm sure they'll have a friendly bet here Texans are built to win now. They're adding running backs. They're adding more defenders. I think their coach is great. I think Dallas slips up here on Monday night. I hate it. But as of right now, again, they might be rolling into this game, and I say they're a locomotive. They won't lose. But as of right now, I think this is a loss.
You said this is in Houston?
No, this is in Dallas.
We got 3 home games in a row?
No, after the Atlanta game is in Atlanta, so there's 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got them losing on Monday Night Football against the Texans as of right now. Keith?
So that's your first home loss for the Cowboys.
No, I have them losing to Detroit in Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is going to be.
I know it's going to sound stupid. I don't want to go undefeated at home. I don't want the 2 or the 1 seed. I want all these opposite things to not like everybody look, oh, look at the Cowboys go. Like I want to fly under the fucking radar as much as possible. My record is not allowing me to do that so far, but I don't want the attention this year. I want the quietest Cowboys win of all time. But
with this, I have to see. This is what you need to do, Sturch. Save this, and you should bring this up each week before we make our predictions. Instead of at the end going, oh, you had this and that. Each week, you should be like, all right, so this week we all, had the Cowboys losing to San Francisco. What do you guys think now? Get what I'm saying? But anyways, with this one, I see them fucking wiping our ass, dude. I see our defense struggling. I see our defense because I got to see Zimmer's defense first because I still don't really know. I know I went after Quinn, but could it be the players? Could it be? I don't know. I got to see this scheme. And until I do, I don't see us stopping a CJ Stroud, dude. Look what CJ Stroud did to that fucking Browns defense as a rookie in the playoffs, bro. That was insane. No. And I don't see us. Once again, we can't go tit for tat with teams. If they have a bad defense like Seattle, we were able to. But if they have a good defense like Buffalo, you know what I mean? Those kind of games, it ain't happening. So I see a blowout here at home, an embarrassing loss.
Absolutely, I agree with my brother.
He needs to go before me because I hate hearing that. I fucking hate hearing I agree with my brother. I want to hear what you really think, bro. Because I know
I really do. I think that Houston's a team on the decline. That's not
it, though. That's not it. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not putting you down. It's just I think I'm persuading you. I don't know where you are.
No, not at all. I'm already got my shit down here, bro.
All right. Well, I want to know your actual thoughts.
It says Zimmer, and that's the point I was going to bring up at the end, because is that everything depends on how this defense is run. So it's already up top. I think we lose to Houston. I don't see us beating this team. I think they're a team on the rise, and we can just move the fuck on.
All right, moving on.
I'll go before the Grinch then.
All right. All right. So the first.
Well, because he's going to be wrong. He's going to be wrong. He'll be wrong now, but then right 2 years later. We got the first matchup between the Cowboys against Dan Quinn and the Cowboys of East because of how many players he rallied up to go over there to join him in Washington. Look, I don't even know who their quarterback's going to be at this point. I truly don't. I know they drafted a kid. I know they still have, obviously, Sam Howell. They did bring a couple of the guys over there, former Cowboys players. Until it changes, I got the Cowboys winning on the road in Washington. I don't know, man. I would have to see Washington in the first 5-6 weeks with Dan Quinn to see what kind of team they are. But as of right now, if you want to do on paper stuff, give me the Cowboys all day, no matter what, no matter where, against the Washington Commanders. Brett, what's the Well, everything is on paper because we don't know.
I know.
You got to gauge how they were last year, and are they on the rise? Are they on the fall? Is it a better addition? Again, Dan Quinn was a good head coach, but at least he got to the Super Bowl. I don't see Washington beating us. I think it's a win. It should be a win. Who the fuck knows? Because who is their quarterback?
Well, they drafted a kid in the first round, and then I think they still have Sam Howell, so they don't even know yet.
No, they don't. Sam Howell went to the Seahawks, and Jaden Daniels is the. Did
they trade him? They had to trade him.
Yeah, he went to the Seahawks. He went to Seattle.
All right. Well, then
There you go.
Fuck them. Whatever. What do you got, Keith?
I got the L.
A loss in Washington?
No, I'm sorry. Washington will get the L for sure.
Okay. I was going to say, what are you doing? All right. Back for some home cooking on the game that I leaked early to the boys, and there was a bet, and then no matter what, and there was a gentleman's bet saying it wasn't true, but the Dallas Cowboys go back home for Thanksgiving Day against the New York Giants. Give me that fucking dub all day long. The Giants are going to be abysmal. I'll listen, and I won't eat my words. I still think the Giants will suck. So give me the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, and give me the fact that we're able to enjoy dessert. You know, so usually I have to struggle. I eat by myself on Thanksgiving. I'm a psychopath, and I can't even like be around anybody. But I think I'll be kind of strutting around, be like, this is nice. This is nice. The Cowboys are going to cruise on Thanksgiving Day. Brett, we winning?
Yeah, I got a W. Like I said, I don't see the Giants on the rise. You know, again, going off of last year or this year, whatever the fuck it is. So yeah, I got a W.
All right.
So
and Keith,
this game is not, and I'm going to say it. I mean, it's not going to be easy at all. I think we win it, but it's not going to be. I think we're going to struggle first half, but we win.
Okay. So through 12 games, I got the Cowboys sitting at a smooth. That's 4. That's 5. I got them at 9-3. Keith through 12 games has 3 wins there. That's 4 wins there. You have 7-5. And then Brett, you're in lockstep with me right now at 9-3.
No, I got 4 losses here.
All right. Then you have 8-4.
I got
you're right.
losing to Houston, losing to Pittsburgh.
Okay. 8-4,
losing to
9-3,
San Fran, and then losing to
7-5.
Cleveland.
So we're all over the place a little bit, which is good. So now they stay home Monday.
So I'm 7-4, right? No, I'm
8-4.
I'm 8-4, right?
Yeah, 8-4, 9-3, 7-5. So we're all game separated each other. Keith has them as the worst so far, and they've already, if Keith's projections obviously are come to fruition, they already can't get to their 12th win of this. Oh, actually, if they win out, they can get 12 wins. So we'll see. Monday Night Football, another Monday nighter. This time it's at home. Well, actually, yeah, that's funny. They have 2 Monday Night Football games. Both of them are home, which is kind of crazy. But it's against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a big test late in the season. December football. Are the Cowboys for real? We'll find out. Zimmer against his old boys. You know, he had his time there in Cincinnati as well. I'll start first. Coming off it's technically not a short week because they get that extra day. I'll give them the win here on Monday night at home. Brett.
I mean, if Burrow stays healthy, this should be an evenly matched team. I mean, it could be an evenly, matched game. I got to give it to Dallas just because they're at home. I mean, this could go either way. Cincinnati's so unpredictable.
They are.
Because look at how they went last year, and then we're predictably average.
That's why. Uh-huh. So Burrow was injured the whole year last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Keith?
So the last time we played the Bengals at home, Cooper Rush beat them week 2, the week after the Tampa Bay debacle on Sunday night. I think this is a better team, but the only difference is this is later in the season. And if you know that year, obviously the year we beat the Bengals, they played very well later on in the season. So I think they are a season that gets better, a team that gets better during the season. I think it's a close one, but I think we pull it out.
Okay.
I really think I'm influencing Keith right now.
Well, I don't know. So the whole thing is, though, I'm actually giving facts and bringing up shit from the past. So I have reasoning. I'm not just, just blurting shit out.
So basically me saying,
basically you not knowing who Washington's starting quarterback is and saying that we're going to beat him.
I didn't even know that Howell was gone. I forgot all about it.
I actually have the knowledge of these fucking teams. That's why I want to go last.
What did you say different from me about Cincinnati? That we beat them game 2? I just said the same thing. Burrows was injured. If he starts,
but he wasn't injured when we beat him.
No, I'm talking about last year. Talk about the team.
We are so back.
I'm you saying they're unpredictable. They're not unpredictable when their fucking quarterback's injured. It doesn't even make sense.
No Joe Mixon.
If he stays healthy. Yeah, if he doesn't, if he
Yeah,
stays healthy,
I'm your call. You're the fucking one.
you had the same fucking prediction, you jerk off.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, next week,
going to drop already.
the following week, it's a 1 o'clock start.
You're miserable. You're all stressed out. You're fucking toxic.
Oh, whatever.
You bring this anger to the
I
goddamn.
can't take this team anymore. I can't take him anymore. I'm not going to watch. I'm you.
I'm you. What are you talking about?
Can we move on, motherfuckers? So we got a Sunday matinee, 1 o'clock start at Carolina, the Big Bad Panthers.
Who the fuck's their quarterback now?
Bryce Young. He's still their quarterback, and I'm still giving the Dallas Cowboys a victory here in December.
Here, let Keith go into
your in-depth analysis here on May 28th about what's going on with the Panthers.
Let Keith go next. I want a 20-minute explanation why Dallas is
go
going
ahead,
to
bro.
win.
No, you're not taking it. You go.
Go ahead, Brett. What do you got?
I got to win. Got to win. Let's move on.
No, we're not
10-4.
moving on.
All right.
Because we need to talk about the game last year. Do you remember what happened in that game?
I was writing them off after the first quarter.
No, you wrote them out after the third quarter.
Oh.
I remember the text. You were done. We suck. It's over. The whole Sturch thing. It was fucking 13-7 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And then we barely we scored 2 quick touchdowns to make it look like a blowout. This is a better Panthers team this year.
Didn't we score a defensive touchdown?
Might have been one of Bland's.
But here's my thing. This is going to be a better team this year. Okay. I see us going in, and I don't think their record's going to be great, but I think we slip up on this game. I think they get us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. 3 games to go. Let's make them quick. Back home, December 22nd against Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got another win, so that's fun. So I'm going to give them the win there. Brett, what say you? Again, Tampa Bay playoff team. They got a little hot towards the end of the last year, but it still is Baker Mayfield. They still got the receivers that they've got. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Maybe I should go first so you'll know.
Yeah, go first. Yeah, let's hear your expertise on it. Go ahead.
Keith, go ahead.
I think we win.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. You went out of focus.
That's all right. Sorry about that.
How was Tampa's defense last year, though? It was pretty decent. I know that they picked up because they were losing in the beginning, weren't they?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, they got hot at the right time. Baker Mayfield really came on towards the end of the year. And you know, they made plays, but again, it's not Brady's Bucks. It's not Brad Johnson's Bucks.
I will say the last time Baker Mayfield came to Dallas, he tore us apart with Cleveland.
Usually what happens.
But that was that 20,
that was Christmas, man. Weren't we watching that game, or was that?
No, that was in October. I remember, and then it was they beat our ass. They didn't beat our ass. They did beat our ass, actually. I think they scored like 40-something. But that defense was Mike Nolan's. That was that shitty defense. Remember?
Oh God.
Yeah.
PTSD.
I don't know, man. I'll give us the win. I'm still on the. Yeah, go ahead. I'll give us the win.
All right, 2 games to go. They're both division games. One on the road in Philadelphia. I don't know where Philly's going to stand at this point. I got the Cowboys at 12-3 at this point. What will be Philly's record? That'll all depend on, you know, I'm not saying resting starters by any stretch in week fucking 16. I just know that I don't know if they're going to need it. I don't know if they're going to absolutely need it. I'm not sure, but it is in Philly. I say we'll split with them regardless of how they're doing. So I'll take the L here towards the back end as the Cowboys move to 12-4 heading into the final week of the year. Brett?
I got the same. I think we lose at Philly. Also, though, I think that Dallas is probably going to have clinched by now.
Okay. So
according
to your record going into that, are you saying just clinch the playoff spot?
No, clinch the NFC East or
clinch the NFC East at an 11-4 record?
Yeah, I really see us I see that whole division on the decline.
Okay. Keith. Now look, Keith's Cowboys are 9-6 heading into this one. So these games they kind of have to have.
Oh, yeah.
They want to get into the postseason. I know it's a little easier with the 7 seed. Just ask the Packers.
So I think this game, how I see it, I agree with the Sturch that it will get flexed to Sunday night. I think that the Eagles will be ahead in the division at the time, but they hadn't wrapped it yet. I think this is a huge game for us. If the Eagles win, they win the division. If we win, we still have a shot at the division. I think the Eagles win.
All right. So Keith has them at 9-7 heading into the last game of the year, which just so happens to be a home game against the Washington Commanders, which again, I think bodes in our favor. If they're sitting around, maybe they're floating around that 1 seed. I don't know. Who knows at this point, but I got them going to win. And the Dallas Cowboys of 2024 will finish 13-4. You could probably sway me on maybe 2 of my decisions. So regardless, I'm going to float around the 11-13 range. But according to this prediction, I got them at 13-4. And what that does for the NFC, that's probably a 1 seed, honestly. Maybe even a 2. And we'll do the same fucking song and dance we did last year. All right, Brett, you think the division's wrapped up by then? So they're 11-5 heading into that last week. What do you got?
I think we win, and I think that we've already clinched the NFC East. It could be about home field, but I see San Francisco really being good this year.
You sort of see it like last year when we
basically. I don't see the NFC East being as competitive as it was this year, and it really kind of wasn't more towards the end.
Yeah, Dallas got caught on fire. The Eagles imploded. Imagine if that was a couple weeks earlier. Like the Cowboys would be cruising. So for the 4th straight season, it looks like the Dallas Cowboys, according to Bret Ernst, will be finishing 12-5. So I'll ask another question after this. But Keith, how do they finish?
So I think this game, the storyline is if we win, we're in. If we lose, we might. If other teams lose, we can still get in. It's going to be that kind of headline, and I think we win. We win, and we get in on our own, and we're one of the wild cards.
10-7 wild card. So a 3-game difference between me and Keith, a 2-game difference between Brett and Keith, and just a 1-game difference between me and Brett. So now I want to ask you guys this: 1 seed, 2 seeds, backing in, however they get there, based on the records alone, do you think we got to wait until the final result to figure out if Mike McCarthy's coming back? Because he's also on his last year.
You mean the final result after the playoffs? Absolutely.
All right, so you don't, no matter what. I mean, obviously 10-7, to me, that raises some serious flags and issues.
Hey, that's what was his record when he won with the Packers? He was a wild card team.
He was a wild card, yeah.
Oh, man, who the fuck knows?
Again, it's insane the type of NFL we're in today. Like, you could win the NFC East 3 years out of your 5, make the playoffs. I mean, look at Sirianni, whatever. Even went to the Super Bowl, won the NFC East, and he's on the hot seat. I mean, that's just crazy. McCarthy's still a good coach, and I brought this up. That's why I had to show in the thing. It all depends on Zimmer and this defense. And, again, it's the key. Why the fuck can't we stop the run? And, looking at – by the way, I don't think it's a red flag that Mozzie's underweight. I know everybody keeps bringing that up. I don't give a shit. That means he could still.
I think the story there was that like Dan Quinn, kind of just, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. Maybe not cared as much, about.
No. They had a whole article about it. How Zimmer's coaching him. Like he said that Quinn didn't do shit with him. He just threw him. He's like, he didn't teach him the position he should have been playing. I'm going to teach him. So we'll see how that goes.
I mean, look, historically, Zimmer's run defense has been pretty good. If you look at the stats, it really depends on what personnel we got chucking out there. Early reports is that, our linebackers will be Kendricks and, being there along with Micah, along with Damone Clark, along with the kid that we had, that we drafted that we talked about. So it will be different. I think they'll be a little bit more physical. Look, OTAs are starting now, technically it's no more voluntary shit. It's going to be, we'll see what we got right now on the field. The only prediction I'll make right now, like between now and September, is that I don't think they're done. I think it was this time last year where they traded for Cooks. It was this time last year where they brought in Stephon Gilmore. It was all this second wave shit right before, it really started ramping up. I don't think the Cowboys are done. They're not pressed up against the cap to a point where they can't afford anybody. I would love to see Gilmore back. I would love to see them potentially add another member of the secondary as well on top of Gilmore. There's a lot of guys out there still, man. And I don't know if they're waiting for, certain chips to fall or whatever, but there's a lot of talented dudes out there. And I think the Cowboys should make a play for at least 1 or 2 of them. So
and don't forget having Schottenheimer, calling plays, I think is good. We didn't lose Al Harris though, right? He's still with us.
No, he actually. And Schottenheimer's not calling plays.
I thought Brian Schottenheimer was in the offense.
No, that's McCarthy. No, McCarthy. He's just like an assistant to the assistant. Like Schottenheimer has some of his language in the playbook, but he doesn't call
McCarthy calls the plays.
McCarthy calls the plays, but that's another big thing you just brought up though, Brett, is that they did retain Al Harris. Not only did they retain him, but they promoted him.
That's big to me.
They promoted Al Harris to assistant head coach. So it's like there's a lot of cool moving parts, and Al Harris absolutely deserves it just based off of what his secondary was able to do last year.
But we lost our D-line guy, right? That British dude. He went with Quinn.
Yes, he left.
Went with Quinn.
But if I might have to send you guys a video of our new defensive line coach. He's not as look, last year's Sounds of the Sidelines, it was funny because they changed the font and shit because the guy was, he was not from America, But this dude, he reminds me of like fucking Joe Swanson from Family Guy. Just hard-nosed, bully, just asshole. And I think that's might bode well for us. But we got him. I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about
but Schottenheimer's our offensive coordinator, it says.
It is, but he doesn't call the plays.
He's not calling the plays though.
Right. There's a different story.
I don't know, man. I think having him in there is a good thing.
Yeah, and I tell you right now, I know it sounds dumb, and I know sometimes Cowboys fans frown upon the fact that like they bring former players into coach and shit, but I love Greg Ellis being on the defensive line staff. I think that's a really good get for us. Because just you guys remember he was a fucking cornerstone of that defense. As bad as those defenses were, sometimes they weren't, and when they weren't, Greg Ellis was shining. So we'll see.
Honestly, he was on some of the better defenses, dude.
Well, I mean, just overall, like we could have had a great defense, but the team went like fucking 5-11. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
yeah. So the whole team, but the defense was one of the bright spots, actually.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't score points. That's all that was. But that'll do it. That's a schedule.
Hold on, I just looked it up. You're talking about? I'm trying to find the offensive line guy.
Defensive line.
I'm sorry, defensive line. Yeah.
But yeah, more or less a drill sergeant Marine type, rather than the soft-spoken British or Australian or whatever he was. But yeah, so look, that's an early ass prediction. It's May.
Yeah, he looks like an asshole too,
right? Go ahead, show.
Oh God, yeah, he's got the.
Oh yeah, look at that Joe Swanson. Let's do it! Like he's just gonna. He's gonna be
that
fucking
smile with the chew in, where he's like, "Yeah, God, I hate it."
It's a complete. They showed one interview of him, and I was like, I'm sold. Like, I'm good.
No, that's a coach that would make me hate football when I play. Like,
yeah,
dick. I mean, takes the fun out of it.
That smile, it takes the fun out of it.
Asshole.
Over conditioned you.
So with that being said, that is a schedule first run through. We'll obviously do another one as the season grows near. We'll have Jesse Holly back this offseason. I know we've been in communication of bringing him back. I want to try to get Patrick Walker on the show as well. I think he would be a great get. I did slide into the DMs of Connor Beebe, trying to get him to get on the show. I know these guys are all, listen, they go from like having like 600 followers on all their socials to like 8.7 million within like half a second. So it's very hard. You got to get a hold of these guys before they get popular. So I tried to coordinate that as well for us, but we'll see. But anyway, that's a season, that's a prediction, and that is a podcast. So thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. We'll be back in, I guess, a couple of weeks as things get, grow closer to OTAs and training camps and all that fun shit. So until next time.
It's the worst part of sports right now.
It really is. It drags now. I mean, look, I'm a beloved diehard New York Rangers fan, so I still got hockey. But yeah, and after hockey's over, it's like
even then, you're just killing time. We're just killing time.
Baseball's in full swing. My Yankees are doing wonderfully, but again, it's a long season, so it's like it's hard to get behind it. But in any event, for Dave Sturchio, Bret Ernst, Keith Ernst, this has been another episode of the Jersey Boyz Podcast. We'll see you guys next time.
Hey, this is Tony Soprano, and you're listening to Jersey Boyz Podcast with your hosts, Dave Sturchio and the Ernst Boys. I mean, I could give a shit about the Cowboys. We're in New Jersey. These guys got balls being Cowboys fans in Jersey. Anyways, enjoy. Or whatever.
How about this, Cowboys?